Governor Newsom is bracing for another year of budget problems, and this time he is pointing to President Donald Trump.
The governor today rolled out his proposed state spending plan, how he wants to use taxpayer dollars for the year. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala joins us now in studio to explain this situation. So what's the major program that could see some changes because of this proposed plan?
Well, Andrea, every year at this time, the governor makes his budget pitch, how he would like to use taxpayer dollars for the upcoming year. But as you mentioned, the governor said today President Donald Trump and his tariffs are playing a major role in the state's apparent money problems. To partially deal with that, the governor is proposing to scale back the state's newer program that provides health care to low-income, undocumented people. All of this was laid out in his budget presentation today at the state capitol. The governor rolled out, as you mentioned, a $322 billion budget plan while bracing for that $12 billion budget shortfall that he and state lawmakers will have to figure out how to close over the next couple of weeks, or months, I should say. Newsom said the state is losing out on billions in cash because of President Trump and his tariffs. But I want to bring up this chart that shows how California's budgets have grown since the governor took office. As you can see, when Newsom first took office, his first budget worked out with state lawmakers was $208 billion. And you see that number has climbed over the years. Today, Newsom's number represents a $114 billion increase from California's budget back in 2019. I asked him about these numbers today. Here's his exchange.
Budget watchers, including the Legislative Analyst's Office, warned that spending could be unsustainable, and even a couple of years ago, the LAO suggested that a reduction in spending could help offset future revenue losses. So with what you presented today and the budget problems you've laid out, I mean, is any of this self-inflicted, or is the uncertainty entirely about President Donald Trump?
Well, we went from a $3 billion trillion dollar economy a few years ago to a $4.1 trillion economy. This nation state has grown, and as a consequence, we've grown into a different approach in terms of our investments. We're also trying to reconcile a lot of challenges we faced. So no, I'm very proud of the work we've done creating a brand new grade, TK for All. I'm very proud of the work we've done to be the nation's leader as it relates to food insecurity and addressing that as it relates to free meals in our public schools. I'm very proud of the work we've done on after school and summer school for all, and the importance that we've placed on that, including high-dose tutoring and reading specialists and addressing some of the gaps as it relates to literacy. I'm very proud of the work we have done on forest and vegetation management and the critical and essential nature of that work to protecting our communities. I'm very proud of the fact we protected our communities with unprecedented investments into vertical prosecution grants and supporting local law enforcement agencies, more accountability, more transparency, addressing the issues of retail theft and quality of life crimes. I'm proud of the investments we're making in behavioral health, and I think they're long overdue and important. I'm proud of a lot of the work we've done in child care, and while I wanted to do more in this year's budget, we're going to have to hold the line, at least as it relates to this budget, and we'll see where the legislature comes back. And proud of the work we've done to address some of the gaps with the Department of Developmental Disabilities. The DDS often is overlooked in a lot of our conversations. Proud of those investments, and proud to have taken inspiration from other states doing similar investments, but not at the scale and scope of the state. We submitted a balanced budget, as I've done every single year.
So again, to close that $12 billion budget gap, one of the solutions the governor proposed today is putting new limits on the state's health care for undocumented people through the Medi-Cal program, also known as the state's Medicaid. Starting in 2026, the governor is now proposing to no longer allow new undocumented adults to sign up for that coverage. Those who are already enrolled right now would need to pay a $100 monthly premium for that coverage.
So Ashley, how much money is that expected to save?
Well, the savings actually would not be immediate. In fact, California taxpayers next year will spend more on that Medi-Cal coverage than they did this year. This year, the state is estimated to spend $10.8 billion. Next year, that number would be $12.1 billion. But then Newsom's administration expects that number to decline with the new rules in place. The governor says there would be about $5 billion in savings in 3 years. Now, because the governor's proposed limits would go into effect in 2026, again, this is still a proposal, I've asked what happens if there's an influx in signups. Newsom's Department of Finance told us those numbers we have today do not account for that situation, so it would be to be determined.
So that initial number could be even higher?
Next year, yes.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much for breaking it all down.